Picture this. Click a link. One you found in an old email or a forgotten forum post. The page loads, but something feels off. The design is frozen in time. Sporting colors and fonts that scream 2004. There's a visitor counter stuck at a number from 15 years ago. There are links that go nowhere, promises of a coming soon, section that never came, and a guest book filled with cheerful messages from people who have likely forgotten this place ever existed. You are not browsing a website. You're standing in a digital ghost town. And you won't believe this, but these abandoned corners of the internet aren't the exception. They're the rule. We are living atop a vast, silent, and growing digital necropolis. The internet, that symbol of endless connection and perpetual now, is dying. And its ghosts are everywhere. To understand how we got here, we have to remember the internet's original promise. It was the frontier. A place of infinite space where anyone could plant a flag, build a home, and shout their thoughts into the void. In the 1990s and early 2000s, the web was a wild, chaotic, and deeply personal place. People built homepages on GeoCities and AngelFire, not for money or influence, but just to exist online. They were digital clubhouses, shrines to hobbies, family photo albums, and earnest journals. The web felt permanent because it was new. We assumed what we built would last, but we were building on sand, not stone. The first shocking, sobering truth that digital archaeologists have uncovered is one of staggering scale. Experts now estimate that a staggering 90%, 9 out of 10 of all websites created before the year 2010 are now abandoned. They are static, untended, slowly decaying in their little corners of server space. These are not websites. They are tombstones. They mark a web that was handcrafted, idiosyncratic, and deeply human. Their death signifies our shift from being citizens and builders of the web to being mere consumers of platforms. But the haunting emptiness of the digital world goes far deeper than forgotten GeoCities pages. It has seeped into the very platforms we consider the most alive, our social networks. Here's a fact that will sit with you long after this video ends. On platforms like Facebook, for certain age demographics, there are now more accounts belonging to deceased users than to living active ones. Let that sink in. In these digital spaces, the dead can outnumber the living. Your grandmother's timeline, where you still post on her birthday, is not just a memory page. It is an active, persistent digital entity. It still takes up storage, it's still indexed by algorithms, it still appears in people you may know, suggestions. These profiles are modern-day Karen's piles of digital stones marking a life. They've transformed social media from a town square into something more complex. Part community center, part archive, part memorial garden. And this creates a profound, unresolved tension. These profiles have a kind of digital afterlife. But who tends that afterlife? Who has the right to? We've created a new form of social presence that persists without a person. And we have no ancient customs to guide us on how to treat these digital spirits. This collision of death and digitality has created one of the strangest financial mysteries of the 21st century, the phenomenon of the dead wallet. In the world of cryptocurrency, your wealth isn't held in a bank. It's locked behind a cryptographic key, a string of letters and numbers. It's a complex, it's essentially a unique digital fingerprint. This key is the only proof of ownership. Lose it, and your fortune is not just inaccessible. It is rendered permanently, mathematically inert. Now consider the human factor. What happens when the sole keeper of that key passes away? If that key wasn't written down, stored in a safety deposit box, or shared with an heir, that wealth vanishes from the economic system forever. The scale of this is almost incomprehensible. Analysts estimate that roughly $300 billion worth of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies is now permanently lost in these so-called dead wallets. That's wealth equivalent to the GDP of a country like Finland or Chile, simply frozen in the digital permafrost. It's a fortune in limbo, a monument to our failure to adapt age-old concepts of inheritance and estate to a world of pure, ownerless code. These lost coins are the sunken galleons of the digital age, glittering at the bottom of the blockchain sea, visible to all but retrievable by none. The ghost town metaphor becomes viscerally real when we step into the abandoned virtual worlds we once built for play and community. This is where the silence is most palpable. Remember the hype around Second Life? In the mid-2000s, it wasn't just a game, it was a parallel universe. Millions of people invested real time, money, and emotion into building digital lives. They crafted elaborate avatars, bought virtual real estate, built breathtaking homes, and bustling businesses. It was a thriving digital society. Today you can still log in, and what you find is haunting. You can teleport to once famous nightclubs like the Rocket Club or Cult of the Damned and find them utterly deserted. The music might still play on a loop, but the dance floors are empty. You can wander through the meticulously designed fantasy landscapes of Svarga or the cyberpunk cityscapes, and you will be completely alone. The only movement comes from the primitive, scripted animations of objects, say forever spinning disco ball, a perpetually flowing waterfall. These places are not just dead. They're preserved in a state of eerie animation. They are the digital equivalents of Pompeii, frozen at the moment the lava flow of user interest moved elsewhere. The same story echoes in the older, deprecated servers of massive games like World of Warcraft. To walk through the once steaming capital city of Ironforge on a dead server is to experience a profound loneliness. The auction house is empty. The banks are vacant. Only the computer-controlled guards remain, forever patrolling a kingdom of ghosts. These worlds were built for mass interaction, and their emptiness screams in a way a static website never could. So, what becomes of these places? Do they just fade to black? Here's where the story takes a turn into the realm of the autonomously eerie. In many cases, they are not shut down. Instead, they are placed on life support, maintained by AI caretakers. As human developers move on to new projects, the cost-effective solution is to hand over the keys to automated systems. These are not sentient overseers. They're simple, rules-based scripts, digital janitors. Their job is basic maintenance. They reboot crashed servers, apply critical security patches, and ensure the automated billing system keeps paying the hosting fees. They keep the lights on in the empty mansion. In more sophisticated cases, this automation extends to content. Some forums use bots to generate plausible-looking posts or comments, creating a faint simulacrum of activity to deter vandals or, cynically, to maintain ad revenue from any stray visitors. We have engineered a form of digital undeath. These spaces aren't alive, but they are prevented from the finality of death, maintained in a twilight state by indifferent silicon stewards. This mass accumulation of digital dereliction has given rise to an entirely new field of study: digital archaeology. This is a legitimate, growing academic discipline. Its practitioners aren't digging in dirt, they're digging in data. Using specialized software, often called web crawlers or scrapers, they systematically explore and document these abandoned spaces. They work for institutions like the Internet Archive, which runs the invaluable Wayback Machine, but also for universities and historical societies. Their mission is preservation against what they call link rot and bit rot, the inevitable decay of digital information. They are racing to save the early culture of the Internet, the flashing under construction GIFs, the MIDI file background music, the sprawling, chaotic web rings that connected sites like a digital necklace. They studied dead forums to understand forgotten social dynamics and archive early memes that have long since lost their context. This work is urgent because digital artifacts are incredibly fragile. A change in a company's policy, an expired SSL certificate, an outdated piece of software, any of these can render an entire digital world unreadable overnight. Digital archaeologists are the historians of a revolution that is happening so fast. Its origins are already crumbling behind us. All of this, the dead profiles, the lost fortunes, the abandoned worlds, is forcing a seismic shift in our legal and philosophical frameworks. We are being compelled to answer questions we never thought to ask. What are your digital assets? Who inherits your Instagram account with its 10,000 followers? Do you own the virtual sword you spent 6 months earning in an online game? And can you will it to your child? What are the copyright implications of an AI caretaker generating content on an abandoned blog? This is the new frontier of law: digital estate planning. Legislatures from California to the European Union are drafting laws to address digital inheritance. Tech companies, often reluctantly, are building legacy contact features and inactive account manager tools. A whole new profession is emerging: the digital executor, someone trained to navigate terms of service agreements, access memorialization protocols, and ethically manage a person's online footprint after death. We are literally writing the rulebook for the afterlife of our digital souls. Recognizing that in the 21st century, a significant part of our identity, our relationships, and our property no longer exists in the physical world. Looking to the future, these ghost towns are not a bug in the system. They are a fundamental feature of the digital age. The cycle of creation, peak, abandonment, and decay is accelerating. The buzzy metaverse projects of today? They are the prime candidates to be the sprawling, empty ruins of 2040. Every new social app, every new gaming platform, every new virtual workspace carries within its code the DNA of its future obsolescence. But here's the wild part, the twist that makes this more than just a sad story of decay. These digital ghost towns are becoming a crucial part of our cultural and technological substrate. Just as ancient Roman ruins provided the foundations for medieval Italian towns, our digital ruins are providing the foundation for what comes next. Old code is reused. Abandoned domain names are snapped up and repurposed. The lessons learned from failed platforms like Google Plus or Vine directly inform the design of today's successful apps. Our digital past is not just dead weight, it's compost. It's the fertile, broken-down material from which the next layer of innovation grows. This reality forces us to confront a profound shift in how humanity preserves its story. For millennia, we used stone, parchment, and ink materials that, while not immortal, could passively endure for centuries with little intervention. The digital record is the opposite. It is actively, aggressively fragile. It requires constant, conscious effort to maintain. Forgetting is not an accident in the digital realm. It is the default setting. This changes the very nature of history and memory. We may be creating more data in a day than our ancestors did in a century, but we are also perfecting new ways for it to vanish without a trace. The digital ghost town is a powerful memento mori reminder of death for our online creations. It tells us that nothing on the internet is forever, no matter how permanent it feels. We stand now as explorers in this vast, quiet landscape of our own making. We navigate a world where the new and bustling coexists with the ancient and abandoned, all just a click apart. These digital ghost towns are not failures. They are footprints in the wet concrete of history. They are evidence of our enthusiasms, our creativity, our fleeting connections, and our relentless drive to move on to the next new thing. They are the shadow side of innovation, the necessary cost of our breakneck pace. So, the next time your click takes you somewhere unexpected, to a fan site for a TV show that was canceled in 2002, to a personal blog whose final entry mentions picking up the author's child from kindergarten, a child who is now in college, to the echoing halls of a forgotten virtual game, don't just hit the back button. Stay for a moment. Look around. Listen to the digital silence. You are in a sacred space. It's a monument to a moment of human connection that has passed. You are witnessing the archaeology of now. The internet was sold to us as a place of eternal connection. What it has revealed itself to be is something more poignant, more human, and more real. A place of beautiful, heartbreaking impermanence. The ghosts are in the machine. And if you listen closely, in the hum of a forgotten server, you can almost hear them whisper,